There's a power station inside your body, and you've been ignoring it your entire life. It sits just below your sternum, a soft hollow where worry lives and breath gets stuck. Charles Haanel called it the sun of the body. He meant that literally. By the end of these minutes, the way you feel your own torso is going to change. Run a hand along the edge of your lower ribs. Find the spot where they meet, the small valley underneath. That's the gateway. Behind it lies a dense weave of nerves the anatomy books call the celiac plexus, and the old teachers called the solar plexus, for a reason that has nothing to do with poetry. They watched what happened when a person learned to direct attention there. They watched the body warm, the face soften, the hands steady. Something was being distributed, something they could see from across the room. Haanel, writing in 1912, made a claim that sounds extravagant until you sit with it. The solar plexus, he said, is the point at which the invisible meets the visible. Thought enters the body there, feeling radiates from there. Energy generated in the silent depths of the subconscious is poured into that center and then routed outward through every nerve, every organ, every cell. A switchboard for the inner life. Read that with your hand on the spot. You can feel the truth of it before you understand it. Most people walk around with this switchboard jammed. Anxiety closes it. Resentment closes it. The shallow chest breathing of someone running late for everything closes it. The result is a body that looks fine in a mirror and feels like a fist from the inside. You know this body. You've been wearing it. So what jams the switch in the first place? One thing, repeated. Fear thought. Haanel was direct about this. Any thought of fear, anxiety, or negativity reaches the solar plexus and contracts it. The sun goes behind a cloud. The radiation stops. And the moment radiation stops, every part of you that depended on that current starts running on backup power. Tight shoulders, restless sleep, a digestion that's gone to war with toast. The mechanism is older than any modern diagnosis. The old teachers simply gave it a name and pointed at the spot. Now hold that against the opposite movement. A single confident thought held with feeling expands the plexus. The chest opens by 1/2 inch. The breath drops 2 ribs lower. You felt this 1,000 times after good news. The difference is that good news isn't required. The thought itself does the work. If you know where to put it, this is the part most people miss, and it's why affirmations spoken at the bathroom mirror so often fail. The words bounce off the skull. They never reach the center. You have to send them down. Try it now. Pick one sentence, something true and steady. I am safe in this moment. What I need is moving toward me. Whatever feels honest, then instead of thinking it in your head, breathe it into the soft hollow under your ribs. Let the words land there like a stone in still water. Wait for the ripple. Did you feel it? That faint warmth, that subtle widening. That's the switchboard responding. Haanel taught that this center, once activated, doesn't just calm you, it broadcasts. The solar plexus, he wrote, radiates a real and potent force, and that force surrounds the body and influences everything within its range. The people you meet feel it before you say a word. The opportunities that show up are drawn by it. The master key system treats this as mechanical law, the same way you treat gravity. Pour energy in, energy comes out. Direct it consciously, and your life starts arranging itself around the frequency you're emitting. You don't have to believe this on faith. You have to test it for 1 week. Here's the resistance you'll meet. Within an hour of starting, your mind will hand you 1,000 reasons to stop. Old grievances will surface, sharper than they were yesterday. A fear you'd forgotten will knock on the door. The exact people who unsettle you most will text you out of nowhere. This is the system showing you everything it had been routing around the closed switch. The debris that was clogging the line is being flushed out so the line can carry a cleaner current. Stay with it. The contractions pass. They always pass. The mistake is to read the resistance as proof that you're broken. You're a generator that's been running on 1/10 of its capacity for so long that full capacity feels alarming. Of course it feels alarming. A muscle that hasn't moved in years burns when it stretches. The burn is the return of function. Haanel insisted that the conscious mind has one job in all of this, and it's a job most people refuse. Vigilance at the gate. Every thought that comes in either feeds the plexus or starves it. You have to stop inviting fear thought to dinner. There's a difference between a passing cloud and a house guest. A practical version, when fear thought arrives, notice the contraction in your center. Drop attention into the hollow under your ribs and breathe there for 3 slow rounds. The thought loses its grip on the switchboard. The current resumes. You've done nothing dramatic. You've simply refused to let the line be cut. Do this 20 times a day for a week. Your inner system rewires itself around the new default. The deeper teaching, the one Haanel only gestures at, is that the subconscious is constantly waiting for instructions and constantly receiving them, whether you intend to send them or not. Every feeling you sustain is a telegram. Every assumption you walk around inside is a standing order. The solar plexus is the post office. It reads your charge and dispatches its energy accordingly. This is why the worried person attracts more to worry about. The center is radiating worry frequency, and the world reflects what's broadcast. A skeptic will push back here, and the pushback deserves a real answer. Plenty of calm-centered people experience tragedy. Plenty of anxious people stumble into good fortune. If the solar plexus governs everything, why isn't the correlation cleaner? Haanel would say the correlation is exactly as clean as your vigilance. Most people hold a state for 30 consecutive minutes at best. They oscillate, they sabotage, they generate a beautiful field at sunrise and dismantle it by noon. The law holds the current is being interrupted by the operator, which means the work isn't to feel good once, the work is to hold a state long enough for the field to stabilize around it. Think about how often you felt the shift and then surrendered it. A morning where you wake up clear, certain, almost luminous. By lunch, a difficult email pulls you under. By evening, you're a different person inhabiting the same skin. The field you generated at dawn is gone, and so is the version of your life it would have built. Haanel watched people do this for decades and called it the central tragedy of the inner life. Power generated, power discarded, repeat forever. The solar plexus doesn't fail you. The hand on the dial keeps changing the station. What changes the pattern is something almost embarrassingly small. A single returning. Each time you notice you've drifted, you place a hand on the center and come back. You don't berate yourself. You don't analyze the drift. You return. The act of returning, repeated, becomes the discipline. Over weeks, the drifts get shorter, the field holds longer. The world around you starts responding to a person who can stay in one frequency for more than an afternoon. This is why Haanel built his system around a single exercise repeated for 24 weeks. One discipline, deepened. Sit in the same chair, relax the body completely, then relax the mind completely. Then, only then, direct a chosen thought into the solar plexus and hold it there, day after day after day, until the holding becomes effortless, until the plexus opens on command, until the broadcasting becomes who you are when you're paying no attention at all. That last line is the whole game. What you broadcast when you're not paying attention is what your life looks like. So pay attention now while you still can choose what gets routed through the center. Put a hand on the spot. Notice what's there. If it's tight, breathe into it without trying to fix anything. If it's open, send something worthy through it. Gratitude works. So does a clear intention spoken inwardly with feeling. So does the quiet certainty that what you want is already on its way. The body you've been dragging around like dead weight is actually a transmitter. It's been on this whole time. The question was never whether you were broadcasting. The question was what. Tonight before you sleep, try one last thing. Lie flat. Place both hands over the hollow beneath your ribs. Breathe slowly until you feel the warmth gather there. Then send, in plain words, the version of your life you've been afraid to claim out loud. Speak to the plexus the way you'd speak to a trusted engineer who could actually build what you describe. Be specific, be calm, be done in 3 minutes. Then let go and sleep. In the morning, before your eyes fully open, check the center. You'll find it still humming with whatever you sent down the line. That's the subconscious reporting back. That's the switchboard saying, received, dispatched, in motion. Do this for 30 nights and watch your outer life start bending toward the signal. Haanel promised mechanics plain and repeatable. He pointed at a center every human carries and showed how to use it the way a pianist uses a keyboard. Deliberately, daily with the calm attention of someone who knows the instrument well. The sun behind the ribs is yours. It always was. You inherited it the day you took your first breath, and it's been waiting all these years for an operator who would finally sit down at the console. Sit down now. The cloud over your sun was always a habit of attention. Lift the attention, and the cloud lifts with it. There is a warmth waiting beneath your ribs that the world will feel before you say a word, and the only person who has ever stood between you and that warmth is the one currently reading these lines. Put your hand on the hollow, breathe into it. The switchboard is live. The sun behind your ribs has been patient. Today, it gets to shine.